everyone, so this is just going to be a quick video talking you through our week 1 assignments. You will see if you check your email that I have already sent you the whole calendar. Within that document as well, there's also some of the course policies that you need to know regarding attendance, and it gives you some links to other areas that you can consult to succeed in the course, like the Real Center and the ILC, which are both operating this summer online. I'll talk more about that as the semester progresses, but I strongly urge you to use those services. What I'm going to do is essentially talk you through Monday through Thursday's week of assignments. So what we've got, let's see. So we've got May 19th, May 20th, May 21st, and May 21st, right? Okay. So what we're going to do, essentially is I'm going to just kind of talk through what's going to be due. You'll see that you can follow along as I post this on Blackboard. We start on the 18th this Monday, and one thing that I've noted for the homework that following Tuesday is that there's a few readings you need to do. The first one is called I Take Your Point, Entering Class Discussions, and that's found on Blackboard on the left-hand tab. If you click Resources, Additional Readings. That just kind of allows you to understand how and in what way to most effectively build off of others' ideas, which is an important component of the course because you're going to be working with sources a lot and responding to those sources, evaluating if they're effective. In some cases, we will be comparing and contrasting different readings, so on and so forth. The other readings that are required for Tuesday's class, the 19th, are in the Wake Tech Reader, and the first one is called Critical Reading. You can see I've listed that's pages 1 through 3, and then Free Writing, which I believe it's pages 81 through 83 in the Wake Tech Reader. And you're actually going to have a homework assignment due about free writing on Tuesday by the start of your class time. So if you are in section 0021, then you would need to email this to me by 9:30 in the morning. If you are in section 0022, then you'll email it to me by 12:30. And the prompt essentially is found on page 84 of the Wake Tech Reader. And what I've said is you just are going to type in a paragraph your answer to question number 2 after reading Free Writing. And essentially the question itself says something along the lines of, Peter Elbow argues that writing effectively can happen and will happen, right, when you're not in the mood or you don't feel like writing. What do you think he means by that, right? The prompt is something along those lines. All I need is a paragraph in response, and paragraphs in this course will always just be 5 to 7 sentences. I do want you to do this in MLA format. So make sure that you go on Blackboard if you're unfamiliar with MLA. Left-hand side, if you click Resources, you can see that there is actually a link that I've titled MLA Template where I've done the formatting for you. It's a fill-in-the-blank format, right? Make sure you write your course section number. So that response will be due on the 19th by the start of class time. And then something else I wanted to note that the school requires me have you do is to take the course entry quiz by May 20th at 11:59 p.m. So you might want to go ahead and do that on Monday as soon as you've got access to the course. That's how I can record your entry to the class. It's a little bit different than if we were to meet seated. So essentially to be counted as present in an online class, you first need to enter the course by taking the course entry quiz. So that's about all we've got going on for the homework on the 19th. Then what I would say to do is be on the lookout on Blackboard for an assignment that you should complete during the time that we would normally be meeting in class, right? So what I'm probably going to have you do is an activity pertaining to the assigned readings, and typically the in-class work's just going to be written responses. You'll get the prompt via announcements, and you'll just be required to turn it in to me either via email or on Blackboard, whatever I state in the announcement. So you want to be really familiar with those chapters in the Wake Tech Reader, critical reading and free writing, okay? Because that's what I'm going to have the assignment for in-class work be about. If you look ahead to the 19th, okay, you can see what we're going to mainly focus on is I want you to view the video I'm going to make after this one on essay number 1, which we talked about already. It's 20% of your grade, and I do like to go ahead and just kind of delve into the essays here at the start of the semester because I know that they're what you care about the most. I know that they're what weigh on your grade the most, right? So we will discuss essay 1 as early as the 19th, this coming week. The assignment guidelines for essay number 1 are found on Blackboard on the left-hand side of the website. If you click assignments and then essay 1, and then following that, you click essay 1 assignment guidelines for printing. Okay, I would like you to read that over during class time because I want you brainstorming essentially which text you would like to work with for essay 1. And then if we look ahead at the homework that is due for May 20th, right? There's a few more readings in the Wake Tech Reader that I would like you to read, mark up, take your own notes on, contact me if you have questions. The first one is Making Meaning, an Introduction to Rhetoric, which is page 9. And then one of my favorite chapters, and these are in the Wake Tech Reader, one of my favorite chapters in the Wake Tech Reader, Writing Introductions and Conclusions, which begins on page 15. That is an interesting chapter because it kind of allows you to see that if you struggle with the writing process, it could be because you're starting with the introductory paragraph when in fact you don't have to. You can kind of start with any paragraph of an essay that's easiest for you to generate ideas, okay? So once you get your thesis done, which is essentially going to be the roadmap of essay 1, you could start with the second or third body paragraph, right? Just to be productive. Don't get stuck on the introductory paragraph because that's oftentimes the hardest paragraph to write. Some other things that I would like you to read for the 20th are found in the Rules for Writers book, so you can see those outlined on the syllabus. Chapter 1, just a few pages on exploring, planning, and drafting, so pages 2 to 21. And then really short reading and writing critically on pages 56 through 61. And as I noted before, on the 20th, during your class time, I will post an announcement with in-class work pertaining to the readings that you have, right? So both in the Wake Tech Reader and the Rules for Writers book. So when your class time starts, I would say always have those books ready. Make sure you've already done the reading, mark things up, put sticky notes everywhere, whatever's going to help you actively engage with the text and have it with you so that you're prepared to respond to whatever prompt that I post for you during your class time. I've also said to review the essay number 1 guidelines again and then look at the rhetorical triangle model notes. So if you are under resources on Blackboard and you click additional readings, you will see that this is found under that tab, and it's just titled Rhetorical Triangle Model Notes. These go hand in hand with Essay 1. So a lot of you might be familiar with rhetorical analysis already. If you're not, no big deal, don't worry. It's a simple technique that we're going to use to kind of evaluate whether or not we think arguments and texts are effective. So the 3 rhetorical appeals are ethos, pathos, and logos, and I'm going to lecture on those a little bit more in my next video as I teach Essay 1 to you. But again, for the 20th, right, just make sure that you've done all of that reading, so that way when you are on Blackboard, you go to sign in during your class time, you see the prompt, right? It will always be pertaining to the reading if we're doing in-class work. So I will ask you questions on the 20th regarding those chapters in the Wake Tech Reader, as well as the Rules for Writers book. Okay, and then you can see on the 21st, what we've got going on for that is, number 1, you need to read, as he himself puts it, The Art of Quoting. This is found on Blackboard if you go to Resources, Additional Readings. And essentially, this is a really neat document. I scanned it from the 112 reader. What it does is it allows you to see how and in what way you can engage with other quotes, right, or quoted material effectively in an academic setting, right? So something we want to avoid is just dropping quotes in. When you use quoted material in a paper, which you will be required to do when you complete essay number 1, for instance, you should kind of transition into that quoted material. There are some templates that you can actually copy in that document to help you understand how to effectively use quotes. So I always say those templates are transitions in a way, right? It's kind of like a turn signal when you're driving, right? So that serves the purpose of letting people around you know what direction you're going in. Same thing goes for quoted material. You want to be sure that it's very clear to the audience why you have that quote in the text and what role it plays. And then we will have a couple, or just one, right, a reading in the Wake Tech Reader, just on writing fluid sentences and cohesive paragraphs. That's page 11. And then you will have your very first in-class writing. It's pretty simple. I'm going to give you that prompt now. There'll be no surprises, but you want to read Don't Blame the Eater, which is found again on Blackboard under Resources, Additional Readings. And essentially, what you're going to have due on the 21st during your class time by the end of class is a response that asks you what his key argument is and Don't Blame the Eater, and then whether or not you think he's effective at making that argument. And after you're kind of familiar with the rhetorical appeals, ethos, pathos, and logos, which I'll again teach in the next video I'm going to post, essentially all you really need to do is consider one of those rhetorical appeals and whether or not it's being used effectively. So make sure that you read that. It's really short, just a page long. And then I've listed some readings for you from the Rules for Writers book, so be sure to look over those. They're just kind of ones you can skim to help you produce the in-class work that is going to be due on the 21st. So building effective paragraphs, right, citing sources and how to avoid plagiarism. You can see all the page numbers and where you can find that information on the calendar. Also, something that is due, and you can actually do this as early as Monday. It's completely up to you because it's going to be open. I'll always have quizzes open early. There is a quotation marks exercise, and you get multiple and unlimited attempts. So essentially, the goal with this, it counts as a quiz grade, is for you to take it, even if you get it wrong the first time, correct it the next few times you take it and use it as a study tool to review how to effectively use quotes in an academic setting, because I know that's something a lot of us may not be used to doing, right? So it goes hand in hand with some of that reading you've got. Make sure you get a 100, really easy, but it is going to close, I wanted to say, by May 20th at 11:59 p.m. So make sure that you do it, right, before then, that you get a 100, right? Not just do it, but that you get a 100. And then another thing that I'd like you to be thinking about would be the essay number 1 pre-writing. That is going to be due on the 21st, right? Which I believe is Thursday. That will be included, the directions for that rather are going to be included in my next video where I'm kind of explaining essay 1. Essentially what the pre-writing is it's an outline to the paper so that I can give you feedback before you start drafting the actual essay. It's set up as a worksheet, so question and answer format. So it's kind of for, well, not just for, right, but helps those who maybe feel stuck when they're starting the writing process. Maybe if you're staring at a blank screen, that can be kind of intimidating. What I've done is I've asked you some questions that are directly from the essay number 1 prompt, and you will type your responses to those based on which reading you choose to analyze. So I find that with the pre-writing, it's pretty useful because it's graded mainly for completion. Still put a lot of effort into it because I'd like to see what direction you're heading in with essay number 1. But that will be due by the start of your class time on Blackboard on the 21st, right? So before class, make sure that you go in to Blackboard. What you will do is you will click Assignments. You will click essay number 1. To begin the pre-writing, if you want to do so as early as Monday, right, whenever, there's a link that says pre-writing for essay number 1 found here. And you'll see it's a very simple worksheet. That tab, if you go to Assignments, Essay 1, and then you click on Upload Pre-writing for Essay number 1 here, that is where you will upload the document with the questions and answers so that I can grade essentially your rough draft. This is a chance for me to look at what textual support you plan to use in the paper, look at the thesis statement, some of the topic sentences, your introductory paragraphs, so on and so forth. So that is all we've got going on for week 1. Hopefully you found this video useful. I would say feel free to just watch it back and pause it as we get to each day, right? I'm just making weekly videos so that I'm not inundating you with too many videos, but I hope that this helps. Let me know if you have questions. Look out for my next video, which will be on how to construct essay number 1, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.